Imagine a world where the sound of explosions could be heard 140 miles away, and the sky was filled with the roar of fighter planes. Welcome to World War I. The war that was supposed to end all wars began with the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand on June 28, 1914. More than 65 million men from 30 countries fought in this global conflict, with nearly 10 million losing their lives. The Germans were the first to use flamethrowers, capable of firing jets of flame as far as 130 feet. In the early days of the war, German troops shot and killed 150 civilians at airshot as part of a policy to terrify occupied areas. British tanks were initially categorized into males and females, with males having cannons and females equipped with heavy machine guns. The first prototype tank, Little Willie, was built in 1915 and could travel at a speed of 3 miles per hour. Artillery barrages and mines created immense noise, with explosions at Messines Ridge in Belgium heard as far away as London. The Pool of Peace in Belgium is a 40 feet deep lake that fills a crater made by a massive explosion in 1917. The most successful fighter pilot of the war was the German Red Baron, who shot down 80 planes. Dogs played a crucial role in the war, serving as messengers and laying down telegraph wires. The Germans used a 48-ton howitzer named Big Bertha, capable of firing a 2,050-cell Lubbe shell over 9 miles. Tanks were initially called land ships, but were later codenamed tanks to disguise their true purpose. French Second Lieutenant Alfred Joubert wrote in his diary about the madness and horror of the war just before he died. Some Americans joined the French Foreign Legion or the British and Canadian armies before the U.S. entered the war. In early 1917, British cryptographers deciphered a telegram encouraging Mexico to invade U.S. territory, helping to draw the U.S. into the war. Woodrow Wilson's campaign slogan was, "He kept us out of war," but the U.S. declared war on Germany in April 1917. The Selective Service Act was passed to increase the size of the U.S. Army, drafting 2.7 million men by the end of the war. During the war, people of German heritage in the U.S. faced suspicion and violence, including the burning of German books. The Spanish flu caused about 1/3 of total military deaths during WWI. Herbert Hoover encouraged Americans to plant victory gardens to support the war effort, leading to a 15% decrease in food consumption. The total cost of WWI for the U.S. was more than $30 billion. The war left thousands of soldiers disfigured and disabled, with reconstructive surgery and masks used to cover horrific injuries. 4 empires collapsed after WWE: Ottoman, Austro-Hungarian, German, and Russian. Germany's indiscriminate submarine warfare was a primary reason the U.S. joined the war. WWI was fought from 1914 to 1918 on every ocean and almost every continent, with most fighting in Europe. Russia mobilized 12 million troops, the largest army in the war, with over 3/4 killed, wounded, or missing. The terrorist group responsible for the assassination of Franz Ferdinand was called Black Hand. The Harlem Hellfighters were one of the few African-American units to see frontline action, earning the French Croix de Guerre. On Christmas Eve 1914, soldiers on both sides of the Western Front declared a truce and sang carols to each other. The Treaty of Versailles imposed severe sanctions on Germany, setting the groundwork for World War II. A WWI transformed the United States into the largest military power in the world. Stay tuned for more incredible stories from history.